Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use for educational purposes only.
A single military operation has triggered a wave of global anger. From Asia to Europe, protesters are taking to the streets, condemning what they call an assault on sovereignty. As Nicolás Maduro is transferred to U.S. custody, questions are being raised far beyond Venezuela's borders. This is no longer just a regional crisis. It's a worldwide reaction.
Shockwaves rippled across the globe as protests erupted on multiple continents in the aftermath of the U.S. attack on Venezuela and the capture of Nicolás Maduro. Crowds surged into the streets, massing outside American embassies and consulates, their chants echoing with fury and defiance. Demonstrators condemned the operation as a brazen assault on national sovereignty and a flagrant breach of international law, warning that the action could ignite dangerous consequences far beyond Venezuela's borders. In Seoul, South Korea, protesters assembled outside the U.S. Embassy, holding placards and chanting slogans against foreign intervention.
All of the so-called justifications for Trump's intervention were merely pretexts for military intervention. That's precisely what I firmly believe, and I am convinced that all these various actions seriously and profoundly undermine the fundamental sovereignty of the ordinary, everyday Venezuelan people. The land of Venezuela should be governed by Venezuelans. If foreign powers rule over it, how is that any different from creating a new colony or a protectorate? It was truly shocking to realize that the United States has no hesitation in using its military power based on such lies. Because right now, there are several regimes in South America that the United States does not approve of. Countries like Colombia and Cuba are examples, and I believe there is a very high possibility that this could expand to such nations. Wherever the United States has intervened, the blood of the people has flowed like a river. There has never been a single instance where U.S. intervention brought peace. It has always resulted in strengthening local dictatorships. In recent years, the United States has driven the people of Venezuela into a disaster of poverty and caused widespread suffering among the masses in an attempt to collapse Venezuelan society.
Similar scenes unfolded in Amsterdam, where demonstrators waved Venezuelan flags and carried signs reading "Against War and Imperialism." Protesters accused Washington of resource-driven intervention and criticized European governments for what they called silent complicity. Several demonstrators warned that Venezuela may not be the last. They argued the operation could embolden further U.S. interventions across Latin America, raising alarms about a wider regional precedent.
1492, that truly means we've been dealing with the indigenous Winca and the foreign Yankee and the gringo for many, many years. So this Trump is just another gringo, another Yankee who wants to impose, who wants to take the resources, who wants to make sure the people have nothing left to say.
This is a request based on the principle of government. This is a request regarding Venezuela. This is a request concerning the legitimacy of the duly elected president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro. Moros. And we are here to provide you with some valuable information because our government is condoning this attack on Venezuela, and we want that. It is known that not everyone here shares that position or belief, and we are here to represent the protest, which is also being expressed by the people of Venezuela, who support the government and who are presumably being targeted because of their support for their president. Of course, there are a few other governments in Latin America that are also against U.S. imperialism, especially Nicaragua and Cuba. But in both cases, as in Venezuela, it is, of course, a mistake to think that you can change a popular movement by abducting its leader. They will find out that even if Nicolas Maduro is interested, and they will do the same as Daniel Ortega or Tom Miguel Diaz-Cano. This will not change the fact that the government is run by a popular movement that has its current roots in the masses and not simply reinforced by abducting one person.
I think this is just another episode of the European and European imperialist projects. Venezuela is just the most recent example. I'm also not entirely surprised if they decide to bring in a few other additional countries, especially those located in South America.
The U.S. operation involved airstrikes on Venezuelan military sites and the capture of Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. Both were transferred to the United States and are expected to face charges in New York, according to U.S. officials. In New York City, demonstrators gathered outside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Maduro is believed to be held. Protesters demanded his release, calling the detention illegal and politically motivated. Meanwhile, in Tehran, protesters displayed public murals and banners condemning the United States and Israel. The displays, featuring stark imagery and warnings, signaled rising regional tensions as reactions to the Venezuela operation continue to spread. The operation has unleashed a wave of international outrage, drawing sharp condemnation from across Latin America and from major global powers such as Russia and China. As tensions escalate, European governments have stepped forward with urgent calls for restraint, even as demands for adherence to international law grow louder and more insistent. The widening backlash signals a deepening global rift, with fears mounting that the crisis could spiral far beyond the region.
The book of Psalms, chapter 140, verse 1. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers of Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which was given to him by the mighty, mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwaf. We one day closer to the kingdom. This is your brother Hadab Yarbad, back with a quick lesson on the events that are taking place around the world. Now, we all know over the weekend, on Saturday to be exact, that the U.S. government kidnapped the president and the president's wife of the sovereign country of Venezuela. Now, we got clips that I'm going to play from the Times of India, right? For educational purposes only. It's going to be a hell of a year for these Edomites that will continue to lead to their demise, right? And lead them further to their destruction. It's going to come from the Almighty Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Let's read that again. Psalms 140 and 1. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. Now, he just threatened 5 other nations. DJ did. You got Lindsey Graham with him, too, on the plane. He hyped. They want Cuba next. They saying that they ain't even got to invade Cuba or do nothing to them because they about to fall from within. And you already know that ever since they put the embargo on Cuba, look that up, back when Castro came into power and they became a communist country, they've been trying to overthrow their government since then. Now, we're going to get a listen, see why I read Psalms 140 and 1. Now, let me drop down. Right? To 4. Keep me, O Yahweh, from the hands of the wicked. Who are the wicked? So-called modern-day white men. The white man. Esau, Edom in the Bible. also the Idumeans in the Bible. The head tribe being Amalek, right? Let's go continue. Let's drop on down. Grant not, O Yahweh, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. Selah. Now, let's look this up right quick. I asked Google, how many governments has the U.S. overthrown in its history? The United States has been involved in overthrowing numerous foreign governments, with estimates varying, but often citing around 14 major instances in a century. Century is 100 years. Though broader definitions of intervention and regime change can push the number much higher, right? Potentially into the dozens or even over 80 interventions in elections, governments since the Cold War, including overt military actions, covert CIA operations. Here goes a side note, them Russians know that CIA was involved in them drones being sent to Vladimir Putin's house, right? And all the little oil depots that they've been getting hit over there. And support for coups. Key examples include Iran 1953, which the president DJ recently threatened, right? They finna go to war with Iran too. Well, you got many military experts saying that this little move that they made to kidnap Maduro and seize their oil was for the fact that if they allow the unrecognized state of Israel to go to war with Iran, they're gonna support them. And if the Iranians shut down a Strait of Hormuz, they'll have oil, right? Key examples include Iran 1953. They back at it with them again. At the behest of the 48 Fakers. Which is why you're going, what's that? Jeremiah 49:20 going to be in full effect. Guatemala 1954. Chile 1973. Now, they had a UN council meeting today in Chile. Still in bed. Their government still in bed with the Americans, just like Argentina. Remember, they just took that $40 billion loan. So they came out and said that Maduro was the unrecognized leader, right, trying to back the U.S.'s claims, but they only got a leg to stand on. And support for coups in nations like Honduras, Brazil, and Haiti. Key examples of U.S.-backed regime changes. Hawaii, 1893. I bet y'all didn't know nothing about that. Overthrow of the monarchy with U.S. Marine support. Iran, 1953, CIA-backed coup against Prime Minister Mossadi, right? And ever since 1979, when they revolted against the people that America put in place as that puppet government, they've been right at Iran since then. Guatemala, 1954, overthrow of democratically elected President Jacobo Arbenz. Chile, 1973, support for the coup against President Salvador Allende, right? Remember they overthrew Honduras too. Panama, 1989, invasion to dispose Manuel Noriega. I did a lesson on that. Manuel Noriega was employed by the CIA. Haiti, 1991 and 2004, support for coups against President Jean-Bertrand Aristide. And more recently, their last president got eliminated. Why? Because he didn't want to comply with the Flandemic. You could put a P in front of that. Remember, he said his country was cool. Wasn't nobody infected. They going to use natural remedies to heal themselves. And lo and behold, what happened? They came and killed him and blamed it on who? The gangs of Haiti. Broader scope of U.S. intervention. Some analysis suggests over 80 covert or overt interventions in foreign elections between 1946 and 2000. So you can add 25 more years of lawlessness to that, because they trying to overthrow the government in they trying to overthrow the government in Iran, Yemen. You got beef between Yemen and Saudi Arabia now all of a sudden, right? Syria, they destabilized Syria under President Obama and just finished them off with Trump, And they put in an ex-Al-Qaeda leader as their leader, right? They're trying to destabilize Lebanon. They already did it to Iraq and Libya, and look how they turned out. Harvard's David Rockefeller Center noted at least 41 successful government changes in Latin America from 1898 through 1994. Some direct, others indirect. So that would mean the Spanish had their hand in their occupation in South America, Latin America, along with the French, British, the Dutch, and now the Americans. Motivations and methods. Regime changes were driven by political, economic, corporate interests. Because, right, all he's saying is, what DJ say? We're going to let all the big corporations in America's oil industry come in and take over their oil fields. You already got one in particular. Look at the Citgo. You got they main, I forgot his name, but he is the main contributor to Marco Rubio's campaign. He got interest in Citgo. Chevron already got a stake over there. And ideological factors, particularly during the Cold War. Methods range from military force, CIA-backed plots, financial support to encouraging local actors. So, your government, let's get this right quick. Isaiah 10. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Right? They didn't destabilize the Latin countries since 1894. We just said it right there. Since 1898, Slovakia. Through 1994, up until this day, and then you wonder why all those countries are poor. And you got the citizens of those countries moving to other countries because you put sanctions on them. And you let your corporations come in and strip the land of the natural resources without compensating the people or the government. So now you're just taking oil, right? Let's get a couple of more scripts before we play this clip. Fair use is in full effect. This is what the Lord got for the wicked. And we know who the wicked are. We already established that. Esau, Edom. Let's go to Proverbs 26. It's a couple in this, right? Even DJ on Mama called him a fool. She like it. Proverbs 26 and 24. It's DJ. He that hateth disassembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. Now they got all kind of charges against Maduro. None of them gonna stick. One of them even a weapons charge. How you gonna charge this man with weapons charge and he the president of Venezuela, who's supposed to have immunity? And then it's gonna come out that the cartel de las Sosas that they claiming that he run was formed by the CIA. And they just let out a ex-president, I think he was of Honduras. I did a lesson on him. He was accused of distributing over 400 tons of cocaine in America, and Trump just let him go. So, from Chile to Argentina, you got Nicaragua, that's against him. You got the one country with Ecuador, right? They corrupt. Proverbs 26 and 24. He that hateth disassembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Let's see how they read in the NLT. Yeah, you're up there lying. They just keep coming up with narratives. Let's see what kind of lie they gonna come up with before they try to invade Greenland. We must have Greenland for a strategic standpoint. Yeah, okay. That's going to further turn the EU against you. This is all the work of the Lord, people. Proverbs 26 and 23. Smooth words may hide a wicked heart, just as a pretty glaze covers a clay pot. A clay plot, Shalaki. Just as a pretty glaze covers a clay pot. People may cover their hatred with pleasant words, but they're deceiving you. They pretend to be kind, but don't believe them. Their hearts are full of many evils. While their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing will be exposed in public. Now, they've been going at the northern kingdom since they came over to this hemisphere. The Edomites have. Like I said, through Spain, France, Portugal, the U.S., Great Britain, the Dutch, right? They covered fields. Been telling y'all that the scriptures continue to expose Esau Edom, the modern day white man, to be the wicked that he is. So there will be no problem when the Lord is justified in dealing with him. Let's get this right quick out of Romans, because it's the Lord's purpose. And you ain't going to change what the Lord got going on. You hear me? Romans 9 and 22. What if the Most High Power, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And that's these Edomites, the so-called modern day white man. Ever since they've been in power, like I read in the book. Matter of fact, let me get it right quick. Okay, I think it's like this in this Bible version. And evils were multiplied. Soon they got in power. The first time and the second time. So like, here it is. First Maccabees 1 and 9. And after his death, talking about Alexander the Great, he split his kingdom up to the 4 generals that grew up with him. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. These same spirited Edomites on the earth now, they the leaders in the military and in the politicians. And evils were multiplied in the earth. Let's go back to Proverbs 26. Yeah, that's all we need from that. Let's go down. Because that's how the people feeling. This is how the people feeling worldwide now. Because they protesting. We got a clip of that too. This is going to continue to bring about sedition among men. 2nd Ezra 15th chapter, right? Proverbs 29 and 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth. But the righteous shall see their fall. Now, you got Canada that's been pretty quiet. But you got judgment coming too from the Lord, right? All these other Edomite nations, they going to go through it. They just upset, just like the French, that they can't control Africa no more. Spain can't control South America no more. Now America want it. They got, he didn't threaten Cuba, which is a tribe of Manasseh. Mexico, which is Issachar. He already on Venezuela here, and now he finna go at Colombia, the tribes of Asher, right? When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. Let me see if I had something else. Proverbs 29 and 12. This is all, I'm going to start at 11. Because this is your boy, DJ. And then you got Lindsey Graham right there cheering him along. He full of lies too. Proverbs 29 and 11. A fool uttereth all his mind. Ain't that what DJ be doing? But a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. Here go another point about DJ. Verse 12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked, and yet indeed they are. I got some scripts wrote down. Let me see what this. Let's go to Psalms. Because they getting out of hand. Right? Yeah. Psalms 28:3. Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts. That's how they do. Then he say he was the president. He finna be the president of peace. This man, last year alone, they say America, Babylon the Great, bombed 7 different countries. And this year, he just started off with a big bang. He didn't kidnap the whole president. Verse 4, give them according to their deeds. That's what the Lord finna do. As ye have done, it shall be done unto you. He finna fuck these Edomites up, y'all. Y'all better uncleave yourself to them. Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them after the work of their hands. Render to them their desert. Because they regard not the works of Yahweh, nor the operation of his hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. That's what I read. Romans 9, right? Let's go back to it right quick. What is that? Romans 9:27. Let me see something. Shalaki Israel. Now, Romans 9:22, right? Because the so-called modern-day white man is the vessel of wrath fitted to destruction that the Lord created. Romans 9:22. What if the Most High Power, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? That's these Edomites. Now, let's go back. Let's get this out of Ezekiel 25. Right? This for Esau, Edom, right? Edom. Look at that. We starting at verse 12. Hey, but hold up. Let's jump to the top. He got judgment on Gentile nations. Ammon, the so-called modern-day Japanese man. You got a price to pay too with the Lord. He looking for you. You hear me? Let's start at 13. Ezekiel 25:13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, the Most High Power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. You're going to have everybody coming at them. And the lead nation going to be Russia. Right? For all this shit that they doing, this imperialism, that they continue to try to spread around the earth with the Western hegemony. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. Remember, they coming at the northern kingdom. They're going to start to react soon when the Lord put the spirit on them. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. Just like you read in, what's that, Jeremiah 51, I'm going to get it. And according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power. Let's see something. Jeremiah 51. Right? This is going to be the future for you, Esau, Edom. So-called modern-day white man whose blessing is the sword. Right? The portion, 50, Jeremiah, I'm going to start at 19. Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, talking about the elect, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. So Esau, you ain't got nothing but death and destruction coming to you, just like you have spread it throughout the earth. Let's get this in Ezekiel right quick. Shalaki. Yeah. Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel. He just said he want to go with Cuba, Mexico, Colombia. He already at Venezuela. That's 4 countries that got members of the Northern Kingdom in them, right? Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. We already served in slavery, right? The northern and the southern kingdom were made to serve together, but they captives refused to let them go. Here go the point for you, Esau, Edom. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See, if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Let's get this in the NLT. For those that don't understand what the Lord finna do, I'm started too. Look at the message. A message for Edom. Ezekiel 35:3 NLT. Give them this message from the sovereign Yahweh. I am your enemy, O Mount Seir. That's a spot that the Edomites resided in, the land the Lord gave, modern day Jordan. And I will raise my fist against you to destroy you completely. Well, that's your ass. Let's jump down to 6. As surely as I live, says the sovereign Yahweh, since you show no distaste for blood, they killed 80 people during this operation to kidnap Maduro and his wife. 34 of them was from Cuba. I will give you a bloodbath of your own. Your turn has come. Now, let's take this back to the KJV. Let's go. We got a couple more. And I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to show these clips for educational purposes only. Fair use is in full effect. Isaiah 34. And 5. It's for you, Esau. Since you love your sword and making weapons like President Keep, he always bragging, we got the best military weapons in the world. Yeah, okay. I bet you ain't going to be able to do nothing against the Lord. The Almighty Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. When Yahweh Shai and all them angels start cracking them clouds. Isaiah 34:5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. That's you, Esau Edom, the so-called modern-day white man. And guess who leading them? Let me get one more. So like I read verse 6. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh had to sacrifice in Basra in a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which is modern-day America. He gonna hit this motherfucker with 200 million missiles. It's gonna turn to a big-ass lake of fire. What's that? Malachi 4:1. Psalms 20. Let me see something. Psalms 21. And as we know, Esau Edom is the head enemy of the Almighty Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai and the children of Israel. Psalms 83, right? Psalm 21:8. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. That's the culmination of World War III. Yahweh shall swallow them up in his wrath, and fire shall devour them. Yes, it will. Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. That's you, Esau. Read Obadiah. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. You can read Jeremiah 49, 50, 51, right? Let's read this, because this is what you got coming. Esau, Edom. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, right? Hopefully the Lord preserve DJ and all these top elite to be the first ones to serve in continual employment when we got to rebuild the earth, right? And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Because remember now, they going around saying, can't nobody fuck with them. They can't be touched, right? They tender and delicate, as it is written in the scriptures. The Lord gonna touch our ass though. And he gonna use these other nations, and more importantly, the elect of the house of Israel to finish y'all off. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. That's what's gonna happen in the kingdom. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Because you got people around the world protesting. We're gonna show that too. From the times of India, right? Let's go down to 16. Oh, I think I already read that. Yep. So I wanted to get that. We got one more. Then we're gonna hit it on that. Israel. We're gonna play these clips because we one day closer to the kingdom. Yeah. I'm gonna start at 5. Yeah. Yahweh trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Well, we already know who that is. Esau, Edom. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest shall be the portion of their cup. Yeah, you're going to feel it. For the righteous Yahweh loveth righteousness. His countenance doeth behold the upright. We get in the kingdom soon, y'all. Hope these nations continue. This is the Lord that purpose, right? Guess what, Israel? We one day closer to the kingdom. Now let's watch these clips. Shalom.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true.
Sir,
they thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that. That Cuba is ready to fall, you know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they can hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
There's been protesters killed in Iran. You said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
U.S. President Donald Trump is showing no sign of restraint after an unprecedented military operation in Venezuela and capturing its president, Nicolas Maduro. The operation was not the end of Trump's message to the world. It was the beginning. Aboard Air Force One, Trump issued a series of blunt warnings targeting multiple nations across continents. Despite opening the new year by speaking of peace, the president quickly pivoted to pressure and threats. First on the list was Colombia. Trump took direct aim at President Gustavo Petro. He labeled Petro a sick man, accusing him of enabling cocaine trafficking into the United States. Trump warned that Petro would not be doing so for much longer, fueling speculation of possible U.S. military action. When asked by reporters if intervention sounded likely, Trump replied simply, "Sounds good to me." Cuba was next, a country long locked in tension with Washington. Trump described Cuba as a failing nation, suggesting fresh confrontation may be imminent. Trump then turned his attention northwards, reiterating that the United States needs Greenland for national security. He cited the presence of Chinese and Russian submarines near the island. The president also issued a warning to Iran as violent protests intensify across the country. Trump said if Iranian authorities begin killing civilians, the United States would strike back very hard. Mexico was also placed firmly on notice. Trump revived his offer to send U.S. troops to fight drug cartels. He said he would prefer Mexico handle the problem itself, but warned the United States would act if it does not.
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me. Yeah. You know why? Because they kill a lot of people. Yeah. One of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
There's been protesters killed in Iran. You said we were locked and loaded, ready to go. What is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
Just talking about Cuba and what could come next there, are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
I have.
They go down for the count. And Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think? I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you. You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true.
Sir,
they thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that. I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.